Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Gardener's Journey Homestead. I am Barbara. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today and for meeting me outside in the garden. So today we are getting the back of the house, the garden beds back here prepped for fall. If you've been following me, you know that we spent a large amount of time focusing on space number one, which is our tunnel, getting it ready for fall. And you guys have seen the transformation, how we got all of the summer crops out and how we have our fall crops in and how they are thriving and almost, some of them are almost ready to harvest. But now today we're in the back of the house, where we have our raised beds and we're getting those spaces prepped and ready for fall. So I want to take you through that journey and show you what all we have going on. If you're brand new here, I am in Tennessee. I'm in Zone 7B and we have three main growing spaces that we utilize on our farm or on our homestead. In the back of the house where I am right now, I have 5 raised beds, and that is where my gardening journey started about 4 years ago. First time I had put my hands in dirt. And now we have a thriving garden where we produce tons of food for our family as well as sell the excess produce. So we utilize this space right here. That's where it all started. And then we also have a high tunnel, which is 30 by 96. Inside that high tunnel, we have 6 raised beds that are 4 by 8, and then we have 5 rows that are 45 feet long. And then we also have an in-ground garden space that's 4,000 square feet where we have 800 to 900 foot rows. So we are growing in all the spaces, definitely in the summertime, but in the fall, we don't grow in our outside summer garden. We grow primarily all of our food that we're going to have for the fall and winter. We grow in our high tunnel. This spot right behind me where the raised beds are, this is where we do our garlic in the fall. And so that's what we're prepping the spaces for. So I'm going to turn you around and let you see kind of where we are in the midst of it and also talk about garlic planting for next summer, 2025. So first thing I want to show you, you can see that my husband, he is redoing this raised bed. You can see the broken pieces way back there in the back. If you've been following me, you know that this bed, among others, have been dilapidated for a little bit, and we've just been replacing them one by one. So here is what I will say, is that when we first started our gardening journey, like I said, my beds, these were the first beds that I had. My husband and my son built these back in April 2020, and we used wood. If I had it to do all over again, I probably, no, not probably, if I knew what I knew then, what I know now, with the fact that I was going to become a gardener, like for real, I would not have done raised beds back here. I would have done metal beds. So these beds, again, were built in 2020, so 4 years ago, and we've already had to start replacing them just because the wood has rotted. We used, it wasn't cedar. Cedar is the best kind of wood that you can get for raised beds, but it was the step right below cedar. I don't remember what it was called. What, white oak? Okay, it was white oak, my husband said. So I think cedar has a longevity of maybe 5 to 7 years, 5 maybe the max, and then the white oak was like right under that. So I would say generally they lasted probably 2.5, 3 years. When you say, honey? I would say they lasted about 3 years. So if you think about replacing beds every 3 years, that gets to be time consuming as well as costly. Now, obviously, the price of wood that it was 4 years ago is not the same price of wood that it is today. So it is more expensive. Now, my wood beds that I have in my tunnel, I have wooden raised beds in my tunnel. We have not replaced those at all. And I think that's because they're not subject to the elements. Out here, they're getting rained on, the sun is beating down, and so they have rotted way more quickly than the ones in the tunnel. And in the tunnel, I don't really see any signs of damage to those beds. Have you, honey? No. I have not seen any signs of damage to those beds. So I'm not saying that absolutely don't do raised beds, but what I will say is if you're going to do raised beds outside and you know that you're going to be gardening, this is not just some pass-through night, then to me it makes more sense to invest in buying a metal raised bed that's going to last you 20 to 25 years than going the route of wood that's going to be outside. That's my personal opinion. I did not know that then. I didn't know anything about metal raised beds. So now in my tunnel, I have 2 circular metal raised beds that I love, and then I just planted my first metal raised bed outside in my outside garden. If you didn't see that video, I'll try to remember and pop it up here. We have our fall potatoes out there. So over time, my husband has been redoing these beds, and he is down to the last bed that needs to be redone. Everything else has been redone. So I'm going to turn you around and show you what the difference that he's doing this time that we didn't do the first time. And I think that this does make a difference in terms of longevity. I'm not saying it's going to last 5 to 7 years, but I do think it is going to last a little bit longer. Okay, so one of the things, and I'll see if he can actually tell us himself, one of the things that he has done differently is he is putting corners. I'm not going to explain it the best way. Honey, can you tell the people what you did differently this time?
Yeah, so decided to go with these decorative corner blocks for each bed, and really the main driver was, I know that there's some wood that lasts longer when it's exposed to them, the harder wood, cedar wood, sassafras, and so on, white oak. But at some point, all wood will finally give out. And so for me, it was just going to be easier to invest in these corner blocks that whenever we have to replace the wood, we just cut the different lengths of the new wood, slide it in, and we're good to go. We don't have to go breaking the loose screws and redigging. These are anchored to the ground. They're in place. All we have to do is replace the wood.
So what did you do the first time?
We just built the beds, screwed them together, the wood to wood, and they were fine. But when they gave out, like they have, and the sun is beginning to pull them apart and so on, we had to take them all the way loose and do like what we're doing now, where we have to dig it out and put the corner blocks in. But now, when we have to replace the wood, it's just a matter of cutting the right piece of wood and sliding it in place, so they can be upgraded to newer wood much easier.
Okay.
Much less time consuming.
Got it. Okay. So I guess, for example, let's see if we can go to this bed that he just finished. That looks so good. Look at this, y'all. Looks like I got me a brand new bed. I guess I really did get a brand new bed. Let me see if I can go over here and demonstrate what he's talking about. Well, not really demonstrate. But basically, I think what he is saying is that this piece of wood right here, you can literally lift it up.
Just lift it up.
And so if this piece of wood was bad, he can lift it up, get the same wood that's that size, and just slide it right in. Is that right?
That's right.
So do you think this will make it last longer?
Last longer? Not necessarily last longer, but easier to fix.
Easier to fix. Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
Because the wood we have now, I mean, it's just normal pine, so it won't last as long. But when we upgrade the next time, when this gives out, we just have to cut the piece of wood, slide it in place.
Got it.
And we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, this may not be the perfect or ideal solution, but it is the perfect and ideal solution for us right now. The other alternative would be for us to get rid of all of these wood beds and then bring in metal raised beds. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times the cost of those is probably $1,000, because I think each metal raised bed is going to be somewhere between $175 and $200. Now, I know that you can get them cheaper on Amazon, but in terms of the kind of beds that I like, in terms of the quality and the height, I don't, again, this is just, I don't know, because I have not checked Amazon, but I know that the beds that I have bought from Vego Garden and from Vego Beds, I like them to be at least 17 inches high. Now, if I had the moolah, I would go even to 32 inches high, because I'm thinking about in later years, you don't even have to bend. But 17 inches high is good. I do not want the metal raised beds where it's like literally one level and you got to get all the way to the ground. If that's the case, I might as well just grow in ground. And I got a space way big out there, 4,000 square feet, where I grow in ground. That's enough for me. Now, I love my outside summer garden. That is my favorite, believe it or not, that's my favorite space. But it is challenging getting down on your hands and knees and planting. So I'm glad that I don't have that everywhere I go. Now, let's talk a little bit about this weather. The sun is out today. This is, at least for the 10-day forecast, this is the last high summer day that we're going to have. It is 85 degrees today in the middle of October. So it is bright sunshine. The sun is like beaming down on me. The rest of this week, the forecast is like in the low to mid 60s for the high. And then this week, the lowest temperature I saw was like 36 degrees. That's a huge drop. It has not been that way. It's been literally like in the 50s at night and then in the 85 range in the day. So for the 10-day forecast, this looks like the last high summer day that we're going to have, and then it's going to really drop off and be fall for real. but only time will tell. So back on these wood raised beds, again, we could invest and do metal raised beds out here, but that also comes with a price tag, as well as we have to have a way to get all of that dirt basically dumped out and then dumped into a metal raised bed. That's going to be a challenge, especially right now. We do not have a tractor. We are down our tractor. We've been down. It's been a year, babe. Almost a year. Y'all pray. We need a tractor. We need a working tractor. But that's neither here nor there. So that's why we've decided to just upgrade the beds. It is cheaper. It is less time consuming at this point in the journey where we are right now. And it just makes the most sense. It makes the most sense. And I am going to buy more metal raised beds, but I want to invest it in the outside garden out there. As you guys know, I did fall potatoes out there, but my plan is to do my onions out there in the fall. Not in the fall, in the spring. My goal is to buy more metal raised beds and just have them lined up, and that way I can do my onions out there. And then when the onions are harvested, usually like in May, I still have time. I can do other summer vegetables out there, and I think that's going to be a nice way for me to get additional growing space without a lot of effort and energy. It might be some more money, but I'm just going to do it over time, and that's the way we're going to do it. Let me find another spot to rotate to, because when I tell you the sun is beaming, it's beaming. So my husband is fixing the beds. He has that one. That's the last major one that has to be done all the way around. But then this one also needs to be fixed. I don't know if you can see, like right in here, the bottom rung. I can't tell if you can see because the sun is so bright. But the bottom rung needs to be fixed on that one. So the other thing that needs to be done is just the beds weed eated and cleared out so that we can do our garlic. So we will go through, literally clear all the beds out, and then wherever I need to add more soil, I'll do that, and then we'll top it with compost, and then we'll plant our garlic. I did garlic back here for the last, I guess, 4 years, and I will tell you now, garlic is one of the easiest things that you can grow. If you have not made your garlic order, pause this video right now and go make your garlic order, or make a note on your phone to send you a reminder to order your garlic. When I tell you garlic is the easiest thing to grow, it is the easiest thing to grow. If you have never grown anything, if you're just now thinking about a garden for next summer and you're thinking about that, but if you have a space where you can grow garlic, even if you put it in a grow bag, in a container, you can at least get you a few cloves of garlic if you don't get like a whole raised bed. But it is one of the easiest things to grow. I've done a video every year of me planting garlic in the ground. It is super easy. And the reason why I say it's super easy is because you put it in the ground and you literally forget about it. So when I plant my garlic, I plant it 6 inches apart, and in between rows, like 12 inches, I make sure the ground or the soil is ready with compost, put the garlic in there, and then I usually cover it with mulch. I water it in really, really good that first time, and then I may water it, later on that week, just to make sure that it really is saturated and good. And then literally, y'all, I don't do anything else until it's time to harvest in the summer. So usually I have planted my garlic in November. Last year was the first time that I actually planted in October, and I really like that because planting in October, I get it much sooner, that I can harvest it. I don't remember when I harvested last year. I want to say I harvested like in May, if I'm not mistaken. I harvested in May, which means my beds become open quicker for me to plant my summer crops in, because I've gotten all the garlic out. But when I did it in November, I would harvest it like in the middle towards the end of June. So I still had time because I'm in a long growing season. But with the garlic, literally you can like leave it and forget about it. It is going to withstand the winter. Again, in zone 7B, it could snow, it could frost. I don't go out there and cover it. I don't do anything. It's going to get the rain whenever it normally rains, but I don't go out there and and water it on purpose. I don't. And I'm telling you, you've seen my garlic harvest, it still grows. That's why not just me, but everybody says it is one of the easiest things to grow. Now, I grow my garlic. I've been using them. This is the 3rd or 4th year. I think it's the 4th year I've used them. Mad River Garlic Growers. All organic. I've had great success, so I just keep on ordering from them. I don't switch it up. I just keep on ordering from them. Now, this year I do have some new varieties that I'm doing that I will tell you about. I have my tried and trues, but then I added some new ones in. I always add a new one every single year. So put down in the comments what garlic you're growing this season. Let me know if you have somehow not been good at growing garlic, or if you're intimidated by it. Let me know in the comments. Let's work through it. Let's work through it so that you can get you some garlic in the ground so that you can harvest it next summer. The only thing you need with garlic is patience, because it's going to take a good 6 to 7 months to fully develop. And this is the time that you plant it, in the fall. You don't plant it in the summer. You don't plant it in the spring. You plant in the fall. So for our zone, I would say you're good to plant up until like December or so. What you're trying to do is for it to have a period to where it at least starts to, what's the word? Not germinate, where it has a period of dormancy before the frost comes, and it's going to go through that period of cold stratification. And then when the spring comes, you're going to start to see shoots and stuff come up, and it's going to start to grow from there. But let's take a look and see what all we need to weed eat out of these beds and see if we have anything left to harvest. So I was able to harvest a small little basket of Roma tomatoes, probably about 10 or so. I'm not sure how they taste, but we'll see. So I checked in on my husband. He has gotten the first layer of wood on and actually doing the corners. And we're checking in with him, and he's going to explain how he's actually screwing this stuff in.
And I got the stake there. I got to nail them back on down in there first, but it won't move.
So what did you do again?
Put glue between the blocks. I saw a glue that was made for this kind of stuff. So put it on the blocks, let it dry, can't move them. So the wind blows, they're not gonna move, they're not gonna shift. Yeah. So
you always had a metal rod going down in between?
No, it's new. It's what this hole that's inside of it, that's what it's made for. So you can stake it so they stop moving around. Then I put the stake in, then I saw the glue. So I put glue between the blocks and the stake. Like, it's just not going to go nowhere.
Y'all, I feel like I have a backyard remodel. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So it's all coming together. And of course, you know, you can see some that looks old, some that looks worn because, you know, the new wood, of course, is all bright. But it'll eventually all look the same. But I'm just glad that they are secure. If you were able to hear what my husband was saying, he is staking it and anchoring it to the ground, and also putting resin in between. He is also putting some type of resin or glue in between so that it's glued down. So literally it is not going to move, which is great. So again, like he said, this is not necessarily going to make the wood last longer. It is going to make it much easier to replace wood when the wood does rot. So what I'm going to do now is, you saw that I got the one bed cleared out. I'm going to try to clear out these other 2 beds so that it is ready for at least free of all weeds and stuff like that. I was able to get a small thing of tomatoes, but let's see how far I can get with getting the rest of these weeds and stuff out. And then only thing that's going to be left is to add soil where the soil is low, and then add in compost. Okay, I did as much weeding as I can. So this is the one bed that's probably the most weeded and ready to get started. I got a bag of potting soil to start filling in the gaps on this. So you see me just laying the soil out to fill in the gaps. I quickly realized that I'm gonna need way more soil. Definitely. Ideally, we would have been able to go and just get a truckload of potting soil. That would have definitely been cheaper, but they were closed. And so in an effort of trying to get all things done while you have the time, this is what we're left with. So you can see that this one bag literally is going to fill this one corner. And you can see I have 3 other corners left that need to be filled. So yeah, I'm gonna need more soil, which I have. We bought 9 bags of soil, but I'm thinking about if it's gonna take 4 bags of soil per bed that needs it, then I'm probably gonna need a few more bags. Okay, y'all, I've done all that I can do until my husband comes back out here. I pulled all the weeds that I could. There were a couple of things that I left in the bed. It's either because I couldn't pull it up, or is that real sticky briar stuff that I need some thicker, these garden gloves, it just pierces right through. So I need some thick gloves where I won't get all cut up. So that's really the only thing that's left, and I'm gonna need my husband to help me. You saw I did the 1 bag potting mix. That 1 bag like took care of 1 corner. So I'm gonna need a lot of potting mix just to fill the beds that are low, and especially when he added in the corners, it created a little bit more space so the bed is wider by adding the corners. So you can see the perimeter all the way around needs to be filled, and I'm thinking one bag will be enough. I was mistaken. It's probably going to take probably at least 3 to 4 bags per one that has that, and that right now that's 3 beds. The other 2 are pretty good and just need some compost. So we got to go and get more compost. I do have more compost like on the mound out there, but again, without a tractor, we can't get it back here. So we're going to have to buy some bags of compost for this part right here. But the backyard remodel is, it is being remodeled. So the only thing that we have left to do again is to fill the beds with new potting mix, compost, and then it's going to be ready to plant the garlic. I will try to do a video on me planting the garlic and at least tell you the new varieties that I'm excited about, that I'm trying as well. But put down in the comments below what garlic you're doing, if you've never done it before, if it's going to be your first time. I'm cheering you on. But thank you guys for stopping by the garden today and walking with us through the remodel. I'm excited. I know I'm calling it the remodel because it is. So thank you so much for joining us. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, the notification, so that you know when my next video is coming up. And remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.